Yo, Wade Wilson. I mean William Wilson. You won the giveaway from last week. Enjoy your hot comics list. Hold up, comic fan. We're chatting about the comics defining this generation of collectors, but GemMint from GemMint Collectibles' daughter just put out a variant comic. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. Our campaign just went live for our exclusive variant for the Invincible Red Sonja #1 by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. My daughter Jade Hope drew this cover, and it's her first published artwork.
Link in the description to follow Jade over on Instagram, as well as to get your copy of one of these stellar covers she just dropped. And every April Mail Call member will be receiving a Wonder Woman done by this talented individual. Congratulations, Jade. Comic fam, hit that like button, slap the subscribe button, and let's get into the hottest comics in the world.
All right, guys, let's start with number 10 on the list. We have New Mutants 98, no stranger to this list, no big news or any reveals, but we do have some record-breaking sales for the first appearance of Deadpool.
We knew back in November 2020, Deadpool 3 was happening, but we were getting all sorts of hyped when we found out that the creators behind Bob's Burgers were attached to the script. Now we have more record breakers to report on. Let's start them out with that 9.6. Last week, hitting $768, up 11%, hitting the $850 marker. The 9.8, impressive sales last week, hitting $2,750, up 9%. Let's welcome New Mutants 98 to the $3,000 club.
I cannot believe this book in a 9.8 is selling for $3,000. We also have a record-breaking sale in the 9.8 newsstand, which sold for $2,983 last month. It's up 19% with a high sale of $3,550.
Consider this, comic fam. New Mutants 98 is selling at an uptick of 84% compared to this time last year. Clearly, members are all sorts of hyped about this Deadpool 3 movie being announced as an R-rated film. That, coupled with the fact that the 9.8 record was broken twice this week, people are getting ready for their favorite Merc with the mouth.
All right, guys, moving on to number 9, we have a book that I'm pretty sure is the first time it's been on this list. It's Strange Tales 169, the first appearance of Brother Voodoo. Fans have been speculating his appearance in the MCU ever since the death of his brother, Daniel Drum, in the Doctor Strange movie.
Strange Tales 169, the first appearance of Jericho Drum, later renamed Brother Voodoo. Will the passing of the torch continue in the multiverse of madness? Members are believing so, which is why we're seeing some price hikes this week.
That's right, a CGC 8.0 is up 26%, selling for $420 just last month, selling now for $530. Then we have the CGC 9.6, not to be outdone, it's up 84%. It sold for $1,825 last month and is now selling for $3,350.
Will Riri take on the mantle that Tony Stark left behind? Will Chris Hemsworth pass that hammer to Jane Foster? What's going on with Black Widow and Yelena Belova? We know that a lot of these A-list actors can't stay in these roles permanently, and considering that this book at a 9.8 was going for $4,000 this time last year, and we're reporting on a 9.6 hitting $3,300, clearly we have some price correction coming.
And considering we've only had 6 9.8 sales over the last decade, and the fact that there's only 10 copies on the census, whereas the CGC 9.6 has 48, we're definitely going to be reporting on record-breaking sales on this book once a 9.8 hits the market.
And now we're at the list at number 8 with Incredible Hulk 180, the first cameo appearance of Wolverine.
That's right. Cameo versus first full appearance, the great debate. We covered that in detail in last week's episode, but we can see collectors are putting their money behind Wolverine's first cameo with the CGC 6.0 up 37%. This book sold for $730 in November, now selling for $1,000.
Man, we're seeing a 31% uptick even in the 7.5, once going for $1,200 last month, now hitting $1,575 now in March.
The 8.0 seeing healthy gains as well, up 30%. That book sold for $2,300 last month, is now selling for $3,000 even.
Now, considering that we're chatting about Hulk 180, we could have put a bunch of different comics here at the list, and Key Collector breaks it down. Some of the other honorable mentions that could have gone here would have been first Hobgoblin, first Carnage, first Loki, X-Men 94, first Claremont on the Run, first Alpha Flight even, first Spider-Man, how about first Fantastic Four? However, the way that a comic makes its way onto the hot list, it has to be based off of momentum. What is the higher velocity of movement? In its wake. And right here, we are seeing 180 take the cake this week, putting it on the list. But we should definitely hit him with the Hulk 181 numbers.
Hulk 181 is still doing its thing. It had 5 record-breaking sales this week, including a 9.0, which is up $3,800 from its previous sale, selling for $12,000.
And now we're at the list at number 7, and I'm feeling some deja voodoo here. You know, Jericho drums on the brain. Doesn't matter, I digress, because we're chatting about something we were talking about last week, which is the importance of that consumer-facing image on the cover. The character, the key moment of them being on the cover for the first time. We have Ultimate Fallout 4, the second print, making its way onto our list this week.
Before we get to the second printing, we got to look at what the cover A is doing. We have a CGC 9.6 up 16%. This book was selling for $900 just last month. It now sold for $1,045. We also have a 9.8 that's up 17%. This book just keeps on climbing. Last week we saw a sale of $2,692, now selling for $3,155.
And that first printing 9.8 record was broken 5 times in the last 7 days, Comic Fam. Let's take a look at the Djevic variant, because that 1 in 25 had a massive record on a Comics Link auction 2 weeks ago, but the information was actually taken off of the website. But big thank you to a member of the community who confirmed the sale. The astonishing sale. The prior record for a 9.8 was $15,986, now up 28%, selling for $20,000.
Man, that is insane. Then we have the second printing, which I actually appreciate because like we mentioned last week, the first printing doesn't show Miles' face on the cover, but the second printing does. This one in a 9.8 sold for $600 just last month, and it's up 117% with a high sale of $1,300.
Members want to showcase their slabs. They want to get this book graded. I mean, this is one of those ones where you get it in hand and you don't even want to take it out of the bag and board. You just want to get it to Florida's graders' hands so that gets in that protective slab. But you want to see the character in full on the cover. It makes total sense. But that's why we're seeing a double in price in 30 days.
All right, guys, moving on from some Spider-Man goodness to Fantastic Four. We have number 6 on the list, Fantastic Four, issue 49. Now, in my day, it was always the first cover appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus. But like we saw with Hulk 180 and 181, now being considered the first full appearance of Galactus.
And considering in issue 48, his debut, he looks a little different, you know, compared to how exciting he looks in issue 49, and the cover is so tremendously better. But it doesn't matter because we have some substantial gains to report on, because the first Marvel family is inevitable, and the grandiose villain that is Galactus is on his way.
That's right, and collectors know it, and they're putting their money into this book. A CGC 4.5 is up 37%. It sold for just $750 last month, now selling for $1,025.
The 5.5, which was going back in January for $1,019. And mind you, this is post the Disney announcement, all right? So members have been continually investing in this book ever since. It's up 42%, selling for $1,450.
That's right, and I think it's going to continue to rise until we get an actual trailer for the Fantastic Four movie. The CGC 8.0 is up 40%. This sold for $3,000 last month and is now selling for $4,200.
Comic Fam, we are in active enrollment for the April Mystery Mail Call, your way of supporting what we do, but also you give us an excuse to send you comics every month, and every single member is going to be getting some clown goodness, existential surrealism, weirdness from Maxwell Prince. We have Haha Issue 3, Cover Art Done by Zoe Lackey. Hit the link in the description, ComicTom101.com to support what we do, and let's hit him with number 5 on the list, some mutant love.
That's right, X-Men #1, we know the mutants are coming, we know Fantastic Four is coming, and we're starting to see record-breaking sales every week on these books.
It's going to be interesting where collecting takes us over the next couple of years, because clearly it's going to be a slow burn. But as soon as we start seeing little hints, Easter eggs, likely in Disney Plus, these books are going to start taking off. But the leader of the pack is going to be their first appearance.
That's right, we have a CGC 6.0, which is up 23%. This book was already expensive, selling for $20,250 just last month, selling now for $25,000.
That 6.5 back in November going for $20,400 is up 42%, selling for $29,000.
And even though the CGC 7.5 sold for $30,000 in December of last year, it's up 15% with a sale of $34,500.
You can really see the health of the market as well as the spec intention take place here with these kind of digits. But let's actually, for fun, let's take a look at the history of the sales of this comic book starting back in 2017 and where we are today.
That's right, the 6.0 that we just mentioned sold for $25,000 was going for just $6,690 back in 2017 and $11,500 in 2019.
The 6.5, which is now selling for $29,000, was going for $13,900 in 2019, and back in 2017, you could have copped this for $8,500.
And then the 7.5 with that big $34,500 sale, you could have got that for $19,200 in 2019 or $15,995 back in 2017.
Considering we're seeing rumors that Marvel's actively in development of creating a title for their upcoming X-Men film, the rumor is that they're calling it The Mutants. It's only given more reason for members to secure their key copies while they can, while they're affordable.
I know, when I first saw the announcement, I thought it was another New Mutants movie, but it's just the New Mutants logo, took out the new, and now you just have the Mutants.
And now we're looking at number 4, a comic book that is staying on our list post the show ending. X-Men number 4, the first appearance of Quicksilver, the first appearance of our Scarlet Witch.
That's right, Elizabeth Olsen left fans wanting more, and they're picking up the first appearance of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. A CGC 4.0, which sold for $2,077 just last month, is up 30%, selling for $2,700.
A 4.5, which was going for $2,280 in February, is up 23%, selling for $2,800.
And then we have an 8.5, which is up 63%. It sold for $8,000 last month, now selling for $13,000.
That's a 63% uptick in price. And consider this, comic fam, the spec of Mephisto, the theory that he would be incorporated, although it was a bust so far, we still see 8 different record breakers across multiple grades this very week for Silver Surfer issue number 3. Seldomly does this happen, where spec fails, or at least potentially fails, as well as a show ending and the key books keep climbing. Most of the time they get stagnant. Most of the time they hit a peak and start to trail off where you would expect him to kind of remain. And now they're still shooting up by the day.
Yeah, I think collectors are still holding out that Mephisto will show up in Loki, and I think the fact that Scarlet Witch and Vision's story has not ended and will continue in the MCU is going to help these books continue to climb.
And now we're at the list at number 3 with a comic that collectors have been speculating on long before Disney Plus. And as of January 2021, confirming that we have Oscar Isaacs going to be playing this version of the character. We don't know which one yet. Well, at number 3, we have Werewolf by Night issue number 32, the first appearance of Moon Knight.
That's right. This book is on its second wind of speculation. Collectors kind of assumed he would come eventually when the MCU started taking off and people started to invest. When he was announced during New York Comic Con 2019, the book immediately skyrocketed, and we're still seeing gains.
A 6.5 is up 30%, going for $1,300 just soon after the Oscar Isaac confirmation happened, now selling for $1,690 this week.
The CGC 9.0 is up 21%. This book sold for $3,100 in 2019 and is now selling for $3,750.
The 9.6 is up 16% this week, comic fam. Once going for $10,600 in 2019, now landing at $12,300. Aside from shattering records this week, Werewolf by Night hit 7 new high sales out of the 25 grade points this week.
And consider this, the 9.6 selling for $12K and the 9.4 only having a high sale of $5,700, a $6,300 difference. We're probably going to see some price correction in the 9.4.
And now we're at the list at number 2 with one of my personal favorites, and it could be because I have a Bronze Age horror bias. It doesn't matter. We have one of the most unique characters to ever been created. At number 2, Marvel Spotlight number 5, the first appearance of Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider.
With WandaVision seemingly going towards the more supernatural side of things, with the Moon Knight show in development, Fans are expecting to see Ghost Rider sometime soon in the MCU, and they're picking up this notoriously hard to get in high grade book with that all black cover. We're seeing a spike in the CGC 4.5, which sold for $745 just last month, up 34% with a high sale of $1,000.
The 8.0, though, is really where we're seeing the uptick. We have a $2,340 price just last week, up 77% in 7 days, selling for $4,138.
And not to be outdone, the CGC 9.0 is up 31%. This sold for $4,950 just last week. It's now selling for $6,500.
Considering the 7.5 record had an uptick of $300 in value compared to the 8.0, which doubled in price in 7 days, clearly the lower grade copies can't keep up with the inflation of those higher grade sales that they're reaching. I suspect to see a trickle down effect across the board, especially if we see any signs of our motorcycle demon possessed rider.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to number 1 on the list. But before we do, make sure to hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you're enjoying these videos, hit that thumbs up. This list has been a Make Mine Marvel list all the way through, and it's not going to stop with number 1. And fans are kind of getting off that WandaVision train and jumping over to Falcon and the Winter Soldier with Captain America, issue 117, the first appearance and origin of the Falcon.
We have the first African-American superhero in mainstream comics coming back to the screen with Bucky by his side and shield in hand. Gem, did you see this trailer? This show looks outstanding. The visuals look like a movie.
Yeah, for sure. Where WandaVision kind of did something different in the first few episodes, I think this is going to be more what MCU fans expected to see out of a Disney Plus show. It looks super clean. Him throwing the shield against the tree and watching that shield ricochet brought me right back to Captain America Winter Soldier days.
It looks like he's practicing, right, Gem? Like he's getting ready to take on the mantle that was being passed down by Steve Rogers, regardless of if the government wants that to be the case. We have a stellar comic book, a key book that is very wanted in the community right now, that is seeing substantial gains, over 100% across 3 grades. Let's get into it.
That's right. All 3 of these grade points we're going to talk about are more than 100% increases. The 6.5 is up 103%. This sold for $395 in February, now selling for $800.
We have an 8.5, which actually was broken twice this week, once going for $700 in February, landed for the first time a $1,300 sale, and then was quickly outdone with a $1,752 sale. That's a 150% increase.
Then we have the CGC 9.0. This sold for $1,100 just last month. It's up 102% with a high sale of $2,218.
March 19th, this week is when Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to debut. I got to know your thoughts about this trailer. If you've seen it by the time you're watching the show, no spoilers, but I want to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Considering what X-Men 4 did to the collectible market, I expect the same thing to happen with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit the like and subscribe. It'll enter you to win a Marvel Voices issue number 1, our amazing Ken Lashley Luke Cage cover. And as always,
geek responsibly, stay minty fresh, and pick up that Red Sonja cover.
Damn right. Enough said. Comic fan, we got other videos for you to check out, and part 5 of the McFarlaneator interview dropped, and I get into the Trinity. That's right, we chat $298, $299, and $300. You don't want to miss it. Peep the vid.